One horror story a night, guys. Today, we're checking out the Korean horror movie Ghost Train. The story takes place inside a subway car at night. There is a woman with bandages wrapped around her head, looking miserable. She's clearly in despair over a failed plastic surgery. Sitting right across from her is a student, radiating youth and beauty. But the girl seems unhappy with her own nose. She looks at a plastic surgery ad opposite her, looking worried. Without realizing it, she notices the bandaged woman staring dead at her. Instantly, the girl feels uncomfortable. Sensing the other person's gaze is way too creepy. She turns to leave, planning to catch the next train. Just as she starts forgetting about the weirdo on the train, a strange, eerie voice whispers in her ear. "Your nose is so pretty." Turning around, she realizes the bandaged woman has actually followed her. The girl panics, her eyes darting around. The voice speaks again. The bandaged woman keeps praising her nose. The girl replies with a thanks, but she's already terrified deep down. The voice continues.
코가 너무 예쁘세요.
When the girl looks back, the woman gives a chilling smile, staring straight at her nose. Noticing the woman holding a cup of unknown liquid, she rushes to the next platform to get away. She looks back to check, but the woman has vanished. Scared, the girl frantically looks around. She didn't expect to meet a psycho with zero boundaries, playing red light, green light with her in the station. Just totally invasive. That's when the girl notices something odd. No one else seems to notice the bandaged monster. Hearing footsteps getting closer and seeing the woman's twisted posture, the girl quickly pulls out her phone. But she doesn't see anything on the camera screen. Instead, the footsteps just get louder. The girl screams in terror. Realizing the woman is holding a cup of strong acid, she starts running for her life. The bandaged woman chases her, grinning maniacally. Eventually, the girl hides in a station restroom and calls the police. But during the call, the officer slips up. He asks if she's hiding in the restroom and describes the crazy woman's appearance. The girl is shocked. She never mentioned the attacker's gender. Suddenly, mocking laughter comes from the phone. When the girl looks up at the stall divider, she sees the cup of acid aimed right at her head. It's about to be poured on her face. Making things even more hopeless, the exit has been blocked.
얼굴이 너무 예쁘세요.
In the end, the girl is slowly burned to death by the acid in the Gwangnam station restroom. Rumor has it that at this station, over 40 people have gone missing or died. It's like an entrance to hell, hiding some dark, evil history. The Gwangnam station master loves gossip and drama. He knows a ton of horror stories about the station. That bandage monster story? He just casually told it to Dakyun. Dakyun is a horror video content creator, working for an MCN agency. Because her recent videos have had very low views, she came to the accident-prone Gwangnam station to dig up some real paranormal events. Sure enough, after posting the bandage monster video, her stats actually went up. Having tasted success, Dakyun visits the station master at Gwangnam station again. She asks if he has any scarier stories and brings out a bottle of premium aged liquor. Seeing the good stuff, the station master lights up. While drinking, he shares another tale with Dakyun. The repeater is an extremely arrogant student who failed his exams. He always has a sour look on his face. Man or dog, if he sees you, he's gonna mock you. One day, while silently judging a drunk uncle next to him, he notices a woman with a strange posture standing nearby. She keeps banging her head against the exit glass. The subway arrives and everyone gets off, but they all seem to ignore the weirdo next to them. As the train starts moving again, the banging gets louder. Thump, thump against the steel, trying to get the repeater's attention. The old man opposite him sees this and quickly flees to the next car. Now the repeater acts tough, but he's actually a huge coward. He follows the old man and runs over too. Pretending not to care, he curses at the woman and starts playing games on his phone. Just then his mom calls to ask how he's doing. He lies and says he's in class. But his mom already heard from the teacher that he hasn't been to cram school in 2 months. He hangs up impatiently. His mom immediately sends a bunch of texts. She says a 20-year-old girl at Guanglim Station jumped onto the tracks because of bad grades. She tells her son never to do anything stupid because of stress. Looking at the video of the suicide victim, he frowns. Her clothes and movements are exactly like what he just saw. He quickly looks back to check. He freezes. He realizes he's encountered something supernatural, and the drunk old man isn't normal either. He starts slamming his body around as if possessed. When the repeater looks back, the woman flashes right in front of him. His brain shuts down. His eyes bulge out in terror, darting between the old man and the woman. Suddenly, the power cuts and the car goes dark. He uses his phone to look around, but the old man and the woman have vanished. Luckily, the repeater wakes up, his face covered in sweat. The subway soon arrives at the station. Without thinking, he runs out of the car. Coincidentally, this is the haunted Guanglim station. He quickly glances across and sees some very familiar police tape. It's the exact spot where the girl killed herself. Suddenly, familiar banging sounds come from behind him. He glances back. He hasn't escaped the nightmare. Trembling with fear, a single tear rolls down his cheek. Da-King is totally captivated by the story. She wonders how the station master knows all this. But when she presses him, he doesn't answer. Instead, he yells that he's drunk, lies down, and passes out. Later, Da-King films the footage she needs at Guanglim Station while it's empty late at night. She asks her boss Woojin to help analyze it. Woojin thinks the story is fresh, interesting, and fast-paced, but he's confused about why there's a human silhouette inside the vending machine at the station. The more they look, the weirder it gets. So on the second night, Da-King visits the station master again with more booze. Under her constant questioning, he reveals the bizarre story of the vending machine. There was once a salaryman who took the subway daily. After getting laid off, he fell into alcoholism. His life collapsed and he became homeless in the subway station. He wanted a cup of hot noodles, but all his money added up to only 2001, still 500 short. He found these coins near the vending machine, dropped by others, but this time the homeless man found a strange red coin. Not knowing what it was for, he pocketed it, until a security guard who always bullied him showed up and robbed him of all his savings. Angry, the homeless man went to the vending machine, staring at the soda cans. Suddenly he noticed the price for a cola was exactly that red coin. Hoping for luck, he put it in the machine. He got the cola, but just as he opened it, he was distracted by a man vomiting nearby. He glanced over, then pulled the tab on the can. Unluckily, it was an empty can. He cursed loudly, but this action changed his life forever. When he looked up again, the vomiting man had vanished. Only shoes and clothes were left on the ground. And out of nowhere, 2 more red coins popped out. At first, he didn't think much of it. He took the cash from the clothes and had a big meal at the convenience store. But the 5,001 ran out fast, leaving him with just loose change. Broke again, he returned to the dark underground platform. Just as he was walking away, another vending machine appeared out of thin air behind him. Looking at the red cola inside, he knew it might be empty, but he guessed the true purpose of these empty cans. He quickly inserted the coin. Holding the can, his greed was amplified. Just then, the bullying security guard showed up. Seeing the homeless man dressed decently, the guard assumed he had money again. He approached with a smirk. The homeless man focused, aimed the can, and pulled the tab. The guard's body started acting weird. Parts of him began to disappear, until only a pile of clothes remained. The homeless man backed away in fear. He didn't understand the logic behind it until he saw the vanished guard pounding inside the vending machine. Then he understood. It's a man-eating can. Seeing 3 more coins pop out, a way to get rich formed in his mind. He shed his submissive attitude. He scoured the station for wealthy passengers, robbing them of their valuables, and tossing their clothes into restroom stalls. As the victim count rose, he lived a life of luxury. He became arrogant, a slave to his desires. But karma always hits. One night, dead drunk, he returned to the station. He noticed a shabby-looking man standing at the creepy vending machine opposite him. He squinted, feeling something was wrong. But a sudden wave of nausea made him vomit violently on the side. The noise caught the other man's attention, and he turned around. That man was the homeless version of himself from before. No. Driven by greed, he was consumed by his past self in a loop. Since using the station master's stories as scripts, Dakim shot up from the bottom to the top 3 in her company. Seeing the girl she used to look down on succeed, her colleague, the beauty blogger, got jealous. To chase clout, the beauty blogger also went to Guanglim station to livestream. Suddenly, a hard break made her lose balance. Her hand on the handle touched some gross liquid. She wiped it off with a tissue. But the next day, 3 red spots appeared on that hand. She rushed to the hospital. The doctor asked if she touched anything dirty. She recalled the incident on the subway yesterday. The doctor said it was a bacterial infection and gave her some ointment to use for a few days. On her way home, she bumped into her rival, Dakyung. The beauty blogger greeted her fake politely, wishing her success. But actually, they aren't just rivals. They both have a crush on their boss, Woojin. While talking, blood started pouring out of the beauty blogger's nose, like a river, non-stop. Terrified, she ran to the restroom. Bleeding this much definitely wasn't normal. While wiping it off, she saw countless small holes appearing on her palms. Her skin crawled at the sight. Just then, someone entered. Afraid of being recognized, she hid in a stall. But over time, the holes spread to her arms and everywhere else. She frantically tried to use the ointment, but shaking in denial, she dropped it. A fan passing by picked it up.
저기요. 혹시 리나님 아니세요?
Too proud to ask for help, she screamed at the fan to go away. Soon, plants started sprouting from the holes. The beauty blogger died in the stall, turning into a plant. Although painful, she died looking beautiful, just like she wanted. Scene change. Dakyung finds the station master again and asks about the Guanglim cult. Dakyung's investigation revealed Guanglim station used to be the cult's church. To give the leader eternal life, 40 followers committed mass suicide as a sacrifice. That's why people keep dying at Guanglim station. Desperate for views, Dakyung wants to interview the cult members. She asks the station master where to find them. At first, he refuses to tell her, warning her to stop. But once you taste success, it's hard to stop. Reluctantly, he tells her how to meet them. He says every night at 3:34 a.m., a train enters the station. Those who board it will find what they're looking for. There are 4 minutes left. Dakyung waits anxiously. She hears a cat meowing. Walking towards the sound, all the lights suddenly turn on. Sitting in front of her is a middle-aged man, wearing a cat carrier backpack. The train arrives right on time. Dakyung hops on and sits down nearby. She looks back, but the man stays on the bench, not following her. Just as she relaxes, the man teleports to the seat opposite her. She moves away, but attracts his gaze like a magnet. As she moves further away, the man jumps up and chases her. That's when she realizes the bag doesn't contain a cat, but Dakyung's own head. After Dakyung jumps off the train, the scene shifts to her office. 2 police officers have arrived. Dakyung's video went viral, catching the police's attention. They found out the station master, described in the video, actually died 3 years ago. The current station master is a man named Mr. Wang, not the old station master. Hearing this, Woojin rushes to Guanglim Station where Daking is. Meanwhile, a dilapidated train arrives at the platform. Daking steps forward. Inside, she finds the station master's walkie-talkie. She picks it up. The station master's voice comes through. He recounts exactly how he died years ago. That night, he and his colleague, Little Ma, were on duty. They saw a strange shadow blocking the tracks on the monitor. Thinking it was a drunk, he sent Little Ma to check. Half an hour later, Little Ma was gone. The station master went to look. While searching, he noticed an old, bloodstained train appear behind him. He stepped forward to investigate. Suddenly, the train sped up. He didn't know where it was taking him. It was incredibly hot inside, hot enough to melt his leather shoes. Through the window, he saw Little Ma and felt relief. But as he looked closer, it was just Little Ma's phone, the 01406-833, held up by a mysterious figure. That figure was likely the cult leader. The train moved again. Black hands reached out from the floor and dragged him down. Understanding the story, realizes her situation. The cult's church is a place of no return. The train starts moving. Dakyun is about to be taken as a sacrifice.
자네와 함께했던 시간들이 꽤나 즐거웠네. 자네가 그리울 거야.
As the train drifts away, Dakyun sees the station master turn into her. The station master wasn't the real one all along. It was the evil cult leader. Now Hell used Dakyun's body to lure Woojin, who's coming to find her.
다경 씨. 다경 씨 전화를 왜 이렇게 안 받아요? 걱정해.
우진 씨, 제가 재미있는 이야기 들려드릴까요?